Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Strong Collectors. It is that time of year again where we do the top 10 of 2023. Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. As you can tell, I'm still sick, but really, it's my favorite time of year. It's my favorite voice, the sick and sexy voice. Let's get into this episode, Jordan. We're talking the top 10 Marvel Legends of 2023. We had quite a few figures come out this year. I think the first ones we got were the Spider-Man 3-pack, and the most recent ones we're going up to will be... we're not doing the Void Wave. That's not counting. But so I think it'll be the Mindless one. The Mindless One wave will be the
You're saying the
most
first
recent.
figures of this year was a Spider-Man 3-pack?
Wasn't it? Didn't
we
that
get
come
that
out?
like in the summer?
I thought that came out in January. Am I crazy? I feel like I've had those forever.
Man.
Maybe I am.
Pretty sure those hit in the summertime, but...
What was the first ones we had then?
I don't know, wasn't the Quantumania wave before that?
Honestly, I didn't even... That's not even in any sort of consideration here.
No.
But you're probably right.
Either way.
All right, maybe I'm way off. All right, so we're going to do this. I think we'll just go every other, starting with our number 5, and then together we will make a top 10. Actually, it's not true. This is going to be a top 9 because we share one figure on this list. Otherwise, everything else is separate. So I don't think you'll be able to guess which figure that is. Maybe you will. I don't know. Let's get into it, Jordan. Number 5, what do you got?
So my number 5 might seem like a bit of a unorthodox choice, perhaps, but I've been waiting for this guy for a while, and it is none other than Wonderman. So I was pretty excited for this one. I really didn't love the last Wonderman they had, but I think this look is really cool with the red jacket. I know I think just the texturing's cool. I think as far as the detail on the folds of the sleeves, the pants, the jacket's cool. I like the shades. This little turtleneck action is fun. I mean, there's no butterfly joints, and he's kind of on this. Doesn't quite have the total rock there, but I was impressed with the range of motion you could get with the legs with the jacket look.
Yeah.
But I think for what I need my Wonder Man to do, I'm pretty happy with this one, and I think he's a cool addition to the collection, and I've been waiting for this look for Wonder Man for a while, so he had to make it on my top 5.
I feel you. Sticking with an Avenger, my number 5 is going to be an OG Avenger, and that's the Mach 1 Iron Man. So when I originally saw this, I still wanted it, but I was like, there's no way this thing is going to move. It's going to be clunky. Not that fun to play with. Still one that I wanted, but when I got him in hand, I was very impressed with that. Even though it looks like clunky, one brick of a piece of Iron Man, it still moves pretty well. You can get him in some cool poses, and I'll probably still end up getting the gold one when it comes out, hopefully in a year or two. So I was very happily surprised with how that one turned out.
Yeah, and how did you feel about the marbling look that they integrated into it? Did that work as well as we thought it might?
I think it did. I'm not one that cares as much about the marbling with figures that I know the Herald of Galactus, the Frankie Ray Nova has some of that marbling on there. I don't mind that as much as some people do. The only time I've really gotten really annoyed by it was with the Ultrons. Some of those have some really weird marbling, and it's almost because I have a small army of them, and it just doesn't look as good on those. But with Iron Man, it worked out pretty well because it's supposed to be kind of that like rough put together costume.
Mm-hmm.
So it shouldn't be perfect. So I think they did a good job of that.
Very nice. Well, continuing, I have this one is from a 2-pack, so technically I'm going with one figure from it, but that will be Deadpool from the Deadpool Hydra Bob 2-pack. Several reasons I like this one. First off, my love for the Renew Your Vows type sculpt, and these kind of toe hinges just get me every time. So I think this is kind of so far the perfect body for Deadpool. I like this classic look. I think, as you know, we speculated this would be way more expensive than it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cool the amount of stuff you get with it. I guess it's for 2 figures, but still, he's pretty fully loaded. And I think as far as a Deadpool goes, this is kind of the gold standard at this point in my collection. It reminded me a lot of the coolness of the old Toy Biz one, where I felt like he just had so much stuff, and like that just made it feel pretty cool. That it wasn't like, oh, he's got 2 swords and a little, pistol or something. So
yeah,
I like this one quite a bit. I think you can get him in some really cool poses, and I think they did a good job making this one just a really fun Deadpool figure.
So what about his thighs, Jordan? Does that not bother you? Because I've seen a lot of complaints about that. It doesn't bother me, but I was just
yeah,
curious,
I
you as a
mean,
sophisticated collector.
as a I guess it helps that there's the pouches on the one thigh, so that kind of
Mm-hmm.
covers it up. And then I guess part of it is like very rarely would I have Deadpool, standing just like, as Todd would say, sandwich man style.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually he's going to be in some kind of pose where like his legs bent or whatever. So I don't really even think about that so much. I guess I could see where that bothers some people, but
Mm-hmm.
um, to me that's kind of a minor issue. So
Yeah, same. I didn't mind it either.
I was okay with that.
I think that's an excellent pick because, yeah, that was loaded and at a very good price. So A+ to you, Hasbro, on that one. My number 4 is a big boy, and that's Blob. So this is one that took me a little while to track down because I'm not going to try to pay retail on most of these figures, but I did want him for my Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and I think he looks pretty good up there. He's a good size. He towers over most other figures. You can get Toad perched up on his shoulder or whatever. The alternate heads, alternate hands. He's also pretty posable, and it's just leaps and bounds better than the old Build-A-Figure, in my opinion. I know some people like the old Build-A-Figure, and I think the only way I could see that argument being made is if you were somebody that just kind of has like wall-to-wall, like shelves, military-style figures where they're just kind of standing there. If you want any sort of dynamic posing, though, this one is far superior, and it's honestly just much more pleasing to look at versus that old cellulite Blob. It was just, there was too much detail there. But anyway, that's my number 4 is Blob.
Where is he on the substantial category?
He's substantial. He's not like a Violator substantial from
Right.
McFarlane, but I mean,
But does any figure need to be as substantial as the
true.
Violator?
I would say he might not bust out a window, but he'd be pretty close to a brick.
All right. Good to hear. So my next one might be a little surprising, but it is none other than the amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man from the No Way Home 3-pack. Now, if you've been listening, I had a lot of... I was very excited for this 3-pack. I anticipated liking the Tobey Maguire Raimi Spider-Man the most.
Mm-hmm.
That one kind of let me down.
We gave this 3-pack away too, Jordan.
That's true. We did.
That's part of a giveaway.
So hopefully you're happy with it. But I liked the Tom Holland one. That one was cool, just that they textured the lines. But I thought the Andrew Garfield one, maybe it's just because I remember getting the Green Goblin one, and just I felt like that figure was so terrible.
I can't sell it.
Those hips and those legs are just the worst thing of all time. So
yeah,
I thought this one was a really cool update. I think they did a really good job. The sculpting, even like the web shooters on the wrists, I like were sculpted in, which I thought was really cool. Of course, I was bummed that they put out these single releases with the extra heads, but again, I don't really go for the unmasked Spidey heads, so I can't be too mad about it. But this one was just kind of the standout of the 3-pack to me, but also I thought a really cool new take on a Spider-Man that just felt a little different. But I like this is probably the one that I stands out the most to me from that 3-pack. So he gets my number 3 spot.
That is generous, in my opinion. I think that 3-pack, I don't know if I could put that in my most disappointing of the year, but I just think the fact that they like put that out at $30 plus per figure, and then they come out with the retro-ish carded ones later.
But does that make the figure less? I think
I don't know. I don't know. I think it was just shady and
your eyes clouded by the marketing tactics.
It just left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't like that because if they were $25 each, then I would have no complaints. It's fine, whatever. Put them out and then put them out later. But you're gonna charge us extra for some hands without the extra heads, and then you give us those crappy web lines. I don't know, man. I think 3 for me, it's generous. It's not hitting my top 10 at all, but I'm very glad that you liked it because I know we were excited for it. I just feel, I don't know, didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, my number 3 is one that I have mine and I have yours. You haven't had it yet. Is the Elektra Daredevil. So, I actually just finished reading this storyline where Elektra and Daredevil team up, and they're both kind of Daredevil. Good storyline. Liked it in the comics. I think I started reading it because this figure was coming out, and I liked the design of the costume and everything. I've been liking Elektra in the books. And this is a cool figure. She doesn't come with a ton. She only comes with the size. Maybe she could come with some fisted hands, but honestly, the gripping hands are close enough to fisted hands. Maybe give her some like karate choppies, but I'm going to display her with her size anyway. The one thing I will say is the size are a little bit inaccurate because when she's Daredevil, she's got these like blunted baton size because she's trying not to kill anybody. Trying to be Daredevil. Daredevil doesn't kill. So minor gripe that I don't care about. I would honestly rather her have stabby size. But then if you have some of the other Elektras, you can swap on the heads. And the scarf being a separate piece is cool. I think I would put her in my top 5 female figures too. So she's a good figure. Wow. I'm excited to see what you think of her when you get her.
Because this is one where, as we adopted our wait until it goes on target clearance philosophy, I was intrigued by this one, but again, I was waiting for a deal, and I'm pretty sure, you found them for quite cheap.
Yeah,
so,
you might have got it for $6 or something like that. I paid full price, and I still think I still like it as much as I do, being full price.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out, and maybe once I do, I'll say, man, I wish I'd had it earlier because it would have made my top 5.
Yeah.
But that seems like a good choice. I think people seem to like that one quite a bit. So. All right, that brings us to number 2 for me.
That we have shared.
Incidentally, number 2 for you. Can you guess at home what it is? You have a couple seconds left to decide. It is none other than the Destroyer from the Earth's Mightiest 2-pack that came with Thor. All around, I mean, this really blew me away as far as what we got for a legend of this. I don't know. This really feels like almost like a Build-A-Figure. In a 2-pack. It is quite substantial. I think the details are really cool. I don't know. I was kind of expecting maybe it to be disappointing, and I was like, I should get it just for the sake of. I think we've talked about wanting a cool Destroyer, so I had to get it. But once I got it, I've played with him quite a bit. Put him in a lot of cool poses.
And did you pay full price for him?
I think I did.
Yeah. I did too.
I did.
Yeah.
I could have waited because later I got to Target and it was like $25. So.
Yeah, honestly, I
You know.
think that is just appalling that people left that on the shelf long enough for it to be on clearance. Um,
Yeah.
that was a great 2-pack. I mean, the Thor I understand is probably not people's mind's eye of Thor.
I even kind of like that Thor though. Not gonna lie.
I do too. I mean, it's the one I have displayed, so I don't have any other Thor than that one. And the Destroyer is, like you said, it's as good as a Build-A-Figure. I say it's better because what
Yeah.
Build-A-Figure this year have we gotten that's better than that Destroyer? It's not Cassie Lang. It's not Cosmo the dog. Probably not Chod. Um,
Showed.
yeah, Chode. Um, what was the other one we had? Totally Awesome Hulk. I haven't had that in person, but I don't think it's better than this. So this is
Can't imagine.
probably the best substantial figure that we've gotten. I would like to have Detroit Steel in hand to know because that one's got to be pretty cool.
What
But
about the
honestly, I haven't.
mindless one?
Oh yeah, true. That does count this year too.
Haven't had him yet.
Yeah, I've got
In a single
almost
one
all of
yet.
him. So yeah, that Destroyer is hefty and still pretty mobile. So
Hmm.
there's really not much more you could do to make that better.
Yeah, I don't know if he could. I mean, the only thing would be if, but there's no way. But if he got like a laser beam head or
Right.
something, but I would not expect that. So,
No. Yeah.
especially at that price.
Right. Especially yeah, because I mean, when people are getting the 2-pack for $25, honestly, I kind of wish I had a whole army of destroyers now. But all right, should I go my number one and then you go to yours, or
Yeah,
all right,
let's do
my
it.
number one. I think this is going to be on a lot of people's top fives. This is one that
Wait,
Jordan.
should we do runner up before number one?
Good idea, Jordan.
Okay.
Runner up, baby. I'll do my runner up first.
Okay.
This is one that I don't think is going to be on many people's top fives. I guess technically she's in my top six, but this is Lady Bullseye. Um, I hadn't read a lot with her in it, but this was the wave that made me think Marvel Legends are coming back. When they announced this and we saw how much stuff was going to be coming in with these figures, like she's got
Hmm.
hands, swords, size, fans, more weapons than she can hold. And that's like kind of the wave is that way. Like they all come with things. I mean, a few figures don't, but a majority of them are packed in with as
Hmm.
much as they could be. And then her being kind of on the newer, I think, Shriek body, a little bit more posable, perfect to go against my Electra Daredevil, team her up with my Bullseye, fighting my other Daredevil. I was pretty happy with this.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's one that I personally didn't have a ton of interest in, but the fact that you like it so much is making me reconsider.
Have you
So
read much with her in it?
I think maybe like earlier stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was in like a maybe she showed up in the Brubaker and or Bendis era at some point, but was she more recently in stuff that you read?
She was just in the Punisher book for a few issues, or like an issue or two.
My runner-up is going to be the Earth's Mightiest Hawkeye. So I was super excited for this one just because I don't know. I like the purple
Mm-hmm.
color scheme. I think it always looks good in a display, and I've been wanting an update because really that retro Hawkeye just never really cut it for me.
Right.
And I do like a lot about this one. Um, it's I think the sky cycle's cool. Didn't really need it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's fun. Um, I think the only thing for me, again, I did buy this one at full price, which
Same.
if I'd waited, maybe I'd feel differently. I
Yeah.
think for $50, I was kind of like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, I like the updates they did to the figure. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was smart to give it the kind of cloth loin piece so that you could actually fit him on the sky cycle or get him into more of those poses. I don't know if I loved the way they did like the bow. Maybe I could
Mm-hmm.
have used a different bow, but again, that could be nitpicking on my
Mm-hmm.
part. And then the one thing that was weird, and I think a lot of people had this, was like the leg just had that really weird thing where like it wouldn't bend, and then if it bent too much, it would just pop out. So
Yeah.
I was always kind of nervous. I never liked those figures where you have to like heat it up to pose it and stuff. That to me is always kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Um, but I thought this was a definite improvement for Hawkeye. and I think definitely looks a lot better, and I enjoy him more. So
For sure.
that is the runner-up.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Now we get into number one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I was saying, I think this is one that a lot of people are going to have in their top list. One that Jordan, I don't think, has ever touched, which I think, I don't know if you ended up getting the deal you were talking about, but we'll maybe talk about that after. But my number one, and it's one that I need to spend more time with. I got them in a pose that I liked, and I've pretty much left them there since I've opened them, and that is Spiral. I don't know why we can't get this cool of a figure more often from Hasbro, because like with all the arms she's got, they still move really well. Tons of, like, each hand has a weapon to hold, whether it's the axe or the swords, different types of swords. She even comes with alternate hands. I have never had the old Spiral before, but I've got to imagine this is an insane improvement. All pinless too, I think. Is that right? Let me grab her. Yep. All 6 arms and 2 legs are pinless. It just is crazy how much detail they've got. Like the fur on the boot. She's got the boots with the fur. The helmet. She's a space Viking.
What more can you want, really?
It's honestly, like, this is the epitome of action figures.
Is that
Why
the
is she
greatest
this way?
female figure they'll ever make?
I can't think of one that's better, honestly. I mean, spoiler alert for whenever we do our top 10 females, but I don't think it can get any better than this. And then I have the Mojo World box set. So having her with Longshot and Mojo. Did you end up getting that, Jordan? That was on crazy clearance.
I did not.
No,
yet,
Jordan.
I guess. Is it still
we
available?
have it up on our
right.
community page, so go check it out. I had it linked when it was on, like, it was like $50. So for $50, I think you will be very happy with what you get there. The original price, 100 and whatever it was ridiculous. Don't ever, no, absolutely not. Nope. But that Mojo is pretty good. So,
yeah.
And for $50, you could sell the other figures and then get your Mojo for free. That's my opinion. Don't have to do it, but all right, Jordan. What is your number one?
My number one is also a female figure, Dakota, and it is none other than, I'm kind of doing an Earth's Mighty. Well, I guess I've got what, 1, 2, 3. The Earth's Mightiest Black Widow that they released, and I just think this one. Usually, I'm pretty disappointed with the female figures. So again, in that same vein of you being really impressed by Spiral, I think this Black Widow really impressed me. Just as far as this first use of this new super articulated female body, she just came with a lot of stuff. I think it would have been different also if you had the windowless packaging, kind of seeing it all. Maybe it would have been even more impressive. Yeah. But I think everything she came with, all the different weapons, the effects, the different heads, and I think you can just get her into a lot of cool poses. I think there's a lot of, maybe I'm also just more excited about the possibilities of seeing this one and being like, oh, there's a lot of stuff they could do moving forward with this figure. So that might be part of it, but I was just pretty impressed by that one. And again, another one I got at full price, but I was pretty happy with it even at full price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one, I think I got to spend some more time with it because I don't know, it's one that I feel like is just, I don't want to say overhyped, but I don't think I was as blown away. I was like, yeah, she's got this extra articulation, but like, does it help her get in the poses I'm trying to get her in? Maybe I just need to try it some more, but get more used to it. I will say that, yeah, she comes with a ton of stuff, and that does add extra points. Although she was more expensive, you had to pay for that extra stuff. But she was another one of those that went on clearance for like $12 or something, which I don't know how, because tons of people were still trying to find her. But I guess Target's just trying to clear out their inventory not long after they get it up there. So, yeah, I mean, that's a decent list, I think. Got a lot of Earth's Mightiest. Got some females on there, which is not typical. Usually they're not as good. But I think they've been putting a lot more effort into those. So that's what we've got for this year. If you want to see some of our speculations for what we've got coming out in 2024, you can check out the Ghost Rider speculations that we did. If you're not into Ghost Rider, maybe you're into Iron Man, check that out. Make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. What was your top 5 Marvel Legends of 2024? And until next time, stay strong.